Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. It's Saturday Night Live. We're going to be just looking at some of the player news and updates. There's a lot of news today. I think this is a trend that as the season wears on, we're going to see a lot of players' decisions being made on Saturdays. So for today, we'll start the show off with just kind of reading some of the player news and notes. If you guys have questions, fire them up in the chat room. But for now, I'm just going to kind of read the news. The Ravens wide receiver Marquis Brown was downgraded to out. He missed Wednesday and Thursday practices. He did practice on Friday, but now he's been downgraded to out. So this means Rashad Bateman's probably a must start. At this point, he can beat that Bears defense, and he's probably going to lead the team in targets. I feel really good about Rashad Bateman, probably as a top 20 wide receiver this week. A couple running backs coming back from IR. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's been activated. I don't really know if I trust him in my lineups. I might be hesitant and just want to see what he does in this game. He has the bye week next week, so it feels kind of risky to start Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You'd have to be in some pretty tough positions at running back if you have to start Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I'm leaning towards not using Clyde Edwards-Helaire this weekend. Let's kind of take it as a wait and see approach with him. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, Miles Sanders, he is back from IR as well. It's a tough matchup against the New Orleans Saints, but you're going to have Sanders, Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, as well as Jordan Howard. So you're looking at a 4-back kind of system. I don't know if I trust it. Again, these guys with their first games back, I don't really know if I can expect a full workload or full snap count. It's hard to say. So I think for me, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Miles Sanders, I'm not using these guys. And then it makes it easier for the Sanders one because it's a really tough matchup against the Saints. I think they are the second best run defense against running backs in PPR format. So Sanders, not excited about him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'd rather start Darrell Williams. So that's how I'm handling Sanders and Clyde. Chargers activated Joey Bosa from the COVID list. That's good news. The Saints activated Tony Jones Jr. We might see him tomorrow. I still think it's going to be a heavy Mark Ingram day, but interesting to note there. Tony Jones comes back. Duke Johnson with the Miami Dolphins. They promoted him to the active roster. I'm not sure what exactly his role is going to be with the team. We know Myles Gaskin kind of is a souped-up version of what Duke Johnson could have been. So Duke Johnson, just someone to keep an eye on. If anything were to happen to Myles Gaskin, maybe more Duke Johnson in the future. Robert Gronkowski listed as questionable for Monday night. I think if you're waiting on him, I'd just make sure you have a backup plan just in case. We've been known to see Gronk listed as questionable in practice and then for him to be pulled out. So it looks like he's going to play, though. Lamar Jackson also added back onto the injury report. He was listed on Wednesday and Thursday. He did not practice with an illness. Friday, he did practice. And then today, he was downgraded again to questionable with an illness. So I don't know if things got worse or whatever, but who knows? Maybe we don't see Lamar Jackson tomorrow. So that makes me a little bit nervous. If there's no Lamar Jackson, there's like almost no Ravens that I want to start on my team, even Mark Andrews at that point. So I'm a little nervous about no Lamar. Saquon Barkley listed as questionable, but it looks good for him to play Monday night. And then Sterling Shepard, he's already been ruled out. Let me see if I can find a couple other interesting news and player blurbs here. Patrick Peterson's back from the Vikings, so that's good news for the Vikings defense. They'll need him as they take on Devonte Adams and the Packers. I'm looking around here. Antonio Brown ruled out. We already anticipated that. This one was kind of interesting. So the Seattle Seahawks, they put Chris Carson pretty much out for the rest of the season. And we saw Alex Collins all week was listed as like questionable and not practicing some days. So here's the quote from Pete Carroll. He said, Rashad Penny should have a larger role in Week 11 against the Cardinals. I'm really looking forward to Rashad, looking to see where he goes and contributes this week. He's got a good role for us. As we go through the next couple of weeks, you'll see him continue to be a big part of it. So if you need running backs and you have the room to add Rashad Penny, I'm not saying to start him tomorrow, but this looks like a guy that no Chris Carson to worry about. And Alex Collins, he does have a groin injury. He's been banged up the last few games here. So there's potential for Rashad Penny to be the lead back at some point this season. So if you want to stash him, I think that's open. That's fair game here. So if you have the room, I'm open to picking him up. Ben Roethlisberger cleared to play. That's good news. Ty Montgomery ruled out for the Saints. Chase Claypool, good news for him. He was not given any injury designation on the practice report, so it looks like he's going to play. He got a full practice in yesterday, and that makes me feel like, hey, Chase Claypool, he's good to go. He's everything's good to go. So if you need him, he's a wide receiver 3 flex play this week. A couple Browns receivers. Browns ruled out Anthony Schwartz, and they also are listing Donovan Peoples-Jones as questionable against the Detroit Lions. Titans tight end Jeff Swaim is out, whatever. Let me see if I can find anything else. They have Taysom Hill listed as questionable. I'm not sure that matters for anything here. Shout out to Tim Patrick getting a 3-year, $34.5 million contract. And that puts him there through 2024. And it likely means Cortland Sutton's probably not with the Broncos next year. So something to be mindful of in the future for dynasty leagues. And then the Saints. They ruled out Teron Armstead, one of their best left tackles, and then their right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk, is going to be out as well. So it's going to be tough sledding. I think that Saints-Eagles game is going to be kind of like a rock fight. So we'll see. But that was the majority of the news that came out today. So if anything, I'm just excited for this week 11. There's a lot on the line. I'm actually going to pull up the schedule real quick and just kind of go over it. It's a heavy noon slate as usual. I wish they would kind of break that apart a little bit, but the majority of the action's at noon. Let me pull this up real quick. The Colts in Buffalo tomorrow. I'm excited about the Colts and the Buffalo Bills. It's in Buffalo. I think if you're using Indianapolis Colts, you're going to want to just rely on Jonathan Taylor and continue to use Michael Pittman Jr. That's really the only thing that I want to touch in Indy. On Buffalo side, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, even Emmanuel Sanders, I like him quite a bit. Dawson Knox is probably my sleeper play for tomorrow. I would highly encourage setting some DraftKings lineup with Dawson Knox. The Colts are the 5th worst team against tight end in PPR format, so that seems pretty good. But I have a feeling Buffalo's offense is going to be hard to stop for the Colts D. And then Baltimore and Chicago. That's the next game on the list here at noon. I don't know what to think of that because if no Lamar, man, like the Bears are coming off a bye. Like they should be looking pretty good to go in that situation. So I like Justin Fields as a low end. He's a quarterback 2 option, I think, for sure. If you're feeling risky and you need help at quarterback, he should be added in 1 QB leagues. I really like the Bears' schedule down the stretch. But Chicago, Darnell Mooney with no Allen Robinson, Cole Kmet, and David Montgomery all should be considered in lineups. Detroit at Cleveland. Like Tim Boyle is starting quarterback. Like we really don't know what we're going to get. I think DeAndre Swift's the only guy I'm comfortable using. And then for Cleveland, just with all the injuries going on right there, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz, we'll see. It's probably a good Jarvis Landry weekend. It's probably a good, of course, it's going to be a Nick Chubb game, but Dearness Johnson, I would expect him to be worth a low-end RB2 flex play as they kind of run a 2-back system. Houston at Tennessee. Brandon Cooks, that's really the only guy for Houston. And then Tennessee, man, I'm excited for Tannehill as a QB1. I'm excited for A.J. Brown to get back into his top 5, top 10 wide receiver play. And then the running game. Jeremy McNichols has been ruled out. So if you're still needing a running back this week and Deonta Foreman's available, you should probably run to your waiver wire right now and collect him and get him in your lineup. I think Deonta Foreman's the best back to own in the Tennessee backfield. And him and Adrian Peterson both have a chance for touchdowns tomorrow, but I would bet that Deonta Foreman probably has the better stat line, more carries, more snap counts. So Tennessee at Houston, or Houston at Tennessee, I'm expecting Tennessee to roll and just run through the Texans. Probably my favorite noon game. I really like Indy and Buffalo, but I like Green Bay and Minnesota. Minnesota is fighting for a wild card berth right now. This one's in Minnesota, so Green Bay coming there with no Aaron Jones. We're going to see a heavy workload of A.J. Dillon. I think he's a top 5, top 10 running back this week. Devonte Adams. Last year, he scored 5 touchdowns against the Vikings, so he's a smash play this week, and as well as Aaron Rodgers. The only guy I'm considering in just deeper leagues is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. It looks like Allen Lazard's going to be out. And then for Minnesota, last year, Dalvin Cook had 6 touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers. So I think this could be a fun, fast-paced game. Vikings, Green Bay, I'm excited about that one. For Kirk Cousins, I don't know if I love him as a QB2. Well, he's a QB2 in Superflex leagues, but I don't know if I like him in QB1 leagues. So I'm a little less excited to get him in there as my QB1. And yeah, A.J. Dillon, man, I'm excited to see a full, like A.J. Dillon 20-plus touches tomorrow. That's probably what's going to happen. I feel really good about Dillon's scoring and his receiving chops, man. That's been, I think, the biggest surprise is what we saw in practice and training camp all summer, that they wanted to find more ways to throw the ball to A.J. Dillon. But that was the knock on him in college. Boston College didn't use him as a receiver, so people were like, oh, you get this big back that can't catch. But he can catch, and he is deadly in the open field. So I really like A.J. Dillon tomorrow. And then the Vikings side, like you're going to start Justin Jefferson. You're going to start probably Adam Thielen. And then Tyler Conklin's an interesting guy. But this Green Bay Packers defense, man, they rank towards the top in almost every major statistical category here for the defensive side. And I don't know. I'm open to the Packers defense continuing to play. They've limited Mahomes, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson the last 3 games. So Green Bay's a hot defense. Maybe they stop Dalvin Cook and frustrate that offense. Next is Miami and the New York Jets. I think you want to get your Miami Dolphins players in, whether that's Tua Tagovailoa. Myles Gaskin is probably a top 10, top 20 running back this week. It's the Jets. Like, they give up the most PPR points to the running back. So get excited about Myles Gaskin tomorrow. Jalen Waddle should be in your lineups. And then Mike Josecki. I know a lot of people are nervous about. I mean, last week he had 7 targets, 0 catches. I think that's great, though. 7 targets. If you tell me he's going to get 7 targets against the Jets, he's probably having a nice game. So continue to use Josecki. Really nobody else on the Dolphins that I want to consider. And then on the Jets side, it's Joe Flacco. So, like, we kind of know what to expect, but Flacco has shown some good things, and he kind of lifts some of the receivers for me. So that's Corey Davis. I think he's a flex play. Elijah Moore has been hot catching touchdowns. He could be a nice wide receiver 3 flex play. And then Jamison Crowder, I could see him being busy with Flacco in the slants and just the middle of the field stuff. But Michael Carter, man, one of the best backs that we've seen in the last 3-4 games. He's like a top 10 running back over the last month. So Carter, you're starting him, and if you feel dirty and want to get a PPR running back in there, Ty Johnson can be of use. You're looking at the Saints and the Eagles. I'm not sure what's going on with the health of these teams here, but hey, man, what's going on, Justin? Thanks for hanging out. We're just doing a quick recap here of the weekend's games. I'm talking about the Saints and the Eagles. Miles Sanders is back tomorrow. I don't really know what to do with this. It's a really tough matchup. Let me pull up my numbers here. The Saints are the second best team against the running back, and they are the number 1 best team. They are the best team. They only allow 16.5 PPR points to the running back, and we're talking about potentially 4 running backs tomorrow getting snaps for the Eagles. I don't see the ceiling there for Sanders. I'm probably not going to use Miles Sanders at all, or any of the running backs. Really, the only guy I want to use is Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith, and then maybe Dallas Goedert if you need him. On the Saints side, Mark Ingram, he's a running back too. He looks really good in standard leagues as well, in case you need the touchdowns. But Trevor Siemian, just a QB2 in Superflex leagues, I do think some good things could happen for Marquez Callaway, Deontay Harris, Traquan Smith, but again, those guys are all kind of boom bust players. If I had to pick one, I kind of like Marquez Callaway. He's been catching touchdowns from Siemian, so that would be the play. But the Eagles are one of the better teams against the receivers. They actually allow the 3rd fewest points to the wide receiver position. So that it's a tough matchup. It's a tough draw for the Eagles passing game, or for the Saints passing game, that is. And then Adam Troutman, I guess. So the Eagles are weird because they allow running backs to score and they allow tight ends to score. So if you need a tight end streamer tomorrow, Adam Troutman should be on your radar. If it's really ugly and bare and you need to plug someone in, Adam Troutman should be looked at. What's the workload for the Chiefs? That's like, I really don't know how to answer it. Darrell Williams has looked so good in the passing game. He's kind of the clear best passing down back, in my opinion there. So with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, this team does have a bye week next week. I think it would be kind of crazy to expect Clyde Edwards-Helaire to get just all the workload that he had gotten before. I'm typing up NFL snap counts real quick. I want to see what these snap counts looked like for the Chiefs before Clyde Edwards-Helaire went down. So let me just click on this in 1 second. So for me, like I don't want to use Clyde Edwards-Helaire tomorrow. If you have Darrell Williams, I'm actually content with Darrell Williams being my guy. But for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, hold on, it just refreshed. 1 second. It glitched on me. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, week 5 is the week he got hurt. Week 4, though, he had 35 snaps. Darrell Williams had 24. Week 3, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 49 snaps. Darrell Williams had 27. So in the beginning of the year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was probably getting about 60% of the snaps. Darrell Williams about 40%. I think that's probably just going to be inverted tomorrow. So expect more Darrell Williams and Clyde Edwards. It's a 3-back workload. Yep. Devonta Smith, Jacobs, Barkley start 2. Dang, that's tough. So the Barkley matchup against Tampa Bay is pretty tough. If I'm starting anybody from this list, I think Josh Jacobs is probably the guy I want to get in my lineups. Devonta Smith, I'm a little bit nervous with his matchup against Marshawn Lattimore. We'll see. But typically, faster receivers work better against Marshawn. He can D up kind of the bigger guys. So I do like Devonta. Barkley. It feels wrong to not use Barkley. So I'm gonna give you the safe options. It's Jacobs and Barkley. Barkley's gonna probably rack up some touches in this one. Mark Ingram or Antonio Gibson. I have that question as well. I'm rolling with Mark Ingram. I just feel good about it. It's a good on paper. It's a good matchup against the Eagles. Gibson, a little bit tougher matchup on paper against the Panthers, also on the road. Both teams are on the road, but I'll go Mark Ingram in PPR. Gibson or Terry. Whew. So I just, for some reason, like, I don't know if I trust the Panthers defense being a good defense, but so far they're like the second best defense in terms of allowing PPR points against them. So the one thing working in Terry McLaurin's favor, they don't have a tight end tomorrow. So if anyone's going to catch a ball, it's going to be Terry McLaurin. So I'll say Terry has the safer floor and ceiling. Kirk Cousins or Russ. I'll go Russ. I'll go Russ with this one. I think if Minnesota's going to have a good day, it's because of Dalvin Cook, not because of Kirk Cousins. And with Russ, they don't really have a running back. Like it's all up to Russ. So I think I'm going to lay on the Russ side there. And Dalton Schultz or Dan Arnold. Whew. So the Jacksonville Jaguars play the 49ers. 49ers are fine, but I feel safer with Dan Arnold. He's been over 60 yards the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it makes sense for me. I'm just going to play the safe guy. I know no Amari Cooper, but Schultz has kind of been just downtrending lately. So I'm gonna roll with Dan Arnold here. What was the next game? So the next game I was going to talk about was Washington and Carolina. I think if you are using Panthers, it's Christian McCaffrey. Cam Newton's probably a top 12 quarterback this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he racks up 2 touchdowns, maybe 1 throwing, 1 rushing. So I like Cam. I like CMC. DJ Moore, you're starting as well. But the one guy that is interesting and probably should be just added, or maybe if you need a wide receiver, Robbie Anderson should probably be picked back up just in case he has a kind of rekindled connection with Cam Newton. And then on the Washington side, Heineke, he's a QB2 for Superflex leagues. I think you're going to lean towards starting Gibson as a running back 2 or a flex. And then Terry McLaurin, you want to get him in there as well. But no tight end for Washington this week. They're going to use a rookie. I think his name's John Bates. And then J.D. McKissick, you just kind of know what you're getting into with J.D. McKissick. You're hoping for that 8 to 10 points minimum. Pop off for a big play. So Timmy Boyle going up against Cleveland. Let me see. So the Browns do allow the 4th most QB points. They've allowed 21 touchdowns on the season. They've only got 5 interceptions on the year as well, and they've allowed 3 rushing touchdowns. So like I feel good about Boyle getting at least 1 touchdown, whether that's with his legs or through the air. But it's probably going to be a struggle game for that Lions offense. I do expect DeAndre Swift to get fed. Jamal Williams is going to be back too, so we might see the Lions go a little bit more run heavy. So like I think a fair projection for Boyle would be 25 pass attempts, maybe 15 completions, something like 175 passing yards. It's going to be a low passing yard day, but as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, like they're going to be able to keep the Browns honest. So Tim Boyle, I'll give him 1 touchdown and maybe 200 passing yards at the best. Upsets for tomorrow. Chicago, I think, is going to beat the Ravens. That's probably the biggest one. I feel good about Chicago. The Washington-Carolina game, I don't know. I like Cam Newton, but something feels good about Washington right now. They're starting to click. So something feels good about that. As far as upsets, like I can't see Seattle beating Arizona, but you never know. It's in Seattle, so I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Wilson's just clicking. But Chicago feels like the best upset to call here. I'm going to go Buffalo over Indy. I'm going to go Chicago over Baltimore. I'll take Cleveland to beat Detroit, Tennessee over Houston. I'll go Green Bay over Minnesota, Miami over New York Jets. The Saints and the Eagles game, I don't know what to pick. Part of me wants to pick Philly, but I kind of trust the coaching staff in New Orleans to pull that off. So I'm going to say New Orleans. I'll take Washington, even though Carolina's got a lot of buzz and excitement right now. San Fran should beat. They're going to run all over Jacksonville, so make sure you start Jeff Wilson. I feel like Cincinnati at Las Vegas is a toss-up. I'll go Cincinnati. I just trust their offense a little bit more. Can we call Dallas at Kansas City with Dallas winning an upset? Like it feels like it. The Chiefs are favored to win, so I'm going to say Dallas. I'm going to say Seattle beats Arizona tomorrow. I'm going to go with that, even though it's going to be a big James Conner game. So I think it'll be a low scoring game. It's going to be a rock fight for sure. And Tim Boyle, man. So Tim Boyle's been an interesting guy as a Packer fan. We've been able to watch him the last couple of seasons. He's competent. He's never had a chance in Green Bay to get meaningful snaps, so we don't really know for sure. But I think it's a good thing for TJ Hawkinson. I mean, he's been with the team practicing as number 2 all season, so honestly, we might not even notice a difference from Boyle to Goff. So I think that would be a good thing. Who knows? Maybe we see Boyle start some more games going forward if the team kind of thrives around him. Browns or Titans defense? I'll go Titans. Titans are just a more trustworthy team. They're 8-2. They win games. Cleveland, don't really know what I'm getting into with Cleveland. It does feel good, but I don't know. It's a toss-up. I'm gonna lean with the Titans, but I can see the Browns having a good game. But I guess we're talking about Tim Boyle here, so I'll say Browns. I'll change all my answers and say Browns. Fields, Tua, Ryan, Cam, Tua. I'm going Tua at the Jets. I think Tua at the Jets is going to be a fun game tomorrow. Saints, something about the Saints feels good. Jeff Wilson, yeah, you're starting Jeff Wilson. Start Jeff Wilson anywhere you can. He's going to probably touch the ball almost 20-plus times tomorrow. He's going to be a workhorse against Jacksonville, so I'm feeling really good about Jeff Wilson. Well, even if Kyler plays, man, he hasn't played in a few weeks. There could be Russ. There could be, no DeAndre Hopkins for sure. And it really depends on that Seattle offense. Like, it has almost nothing to do with Kyler. If the Seattle offense is up to the task, it's going to be a good game. I think I'm going to roll with the safe picks for Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's going to be the passing down back because JaMychal Hasty's also out. So he's getting the passing down work and he's getting all the meaningful carries. So Jeff Wilson's probably a stud tomorrow. Stack Tua and Waddle. I wouldn't worry too much about the stack. I mean, Waddle's going to play fine. So it's a risk reward thing. I'm really bullish on Jeff Wilson. He's a really good back. I think people forget about him just a year or two ago playing at the level he was playing, but he helped me win a fantasy championship last year. So Jeff Wilson was on a run in December last year. So he's a really good back and Shanahan trusts him. So therefore I trust him. So Jeff Wilson, I would stick with him. And then Tua does excite me the most over all these QBs. But man, it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. I'm excited. We got a full workload here. And then cap it off with the Chargers and the Steelers. Like, I'm open to the Steelers winning, but they have a lot of defensive pieces that are not playing. So I think that it's going to be a little bit tough for their defense to stop that Chargers offense. And then Tampa Bay, New York Giants. I'm actually thinking Tampa Bay might struggle offensively in this one. Part of me just wonders. Washington really cracked them last week. Tom Brady got pressured. He got blitzed. He threw some interceptions. So I'm just wondering if the Giants are up to the task defensively. Started Nick Folk at Patriots. Oh, man. Nice start. Beautiful start to your weekend there, Chosen Rose. But any other final questions? Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here for tonight. Tonight was just going to be a quick video. Just wanted to log in and just all the player news today, all the actives, all the guys labeled out. There's just a lot of news. I just wanted to kind of cover that. But I am available. If you guys have questions, hit me up on TikTok, Twitter, wherever you need to find me. Just let me know. Pittsburgh Moneyline. It could be sneaky. And Pittsburgh just kind of finds a way to stay into games and win ugly. They kind of play up to or down to their opponent. So I'm open to Pittsburgh doing it. Again, Ben Roethlisberger has not been with the team for a while, so that could play into some things. It's going to be a heavy Najee Harris night. So I feel really good about Najee if you got him. But outside of that, I'm a little bit nervous. But man, I'm just excited for the football tomorrow. I wish we had more London games because I love waking up to the London games. It's a lot of fun. But anyways, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have questions. You can hit me up on Twitter, comment on this video, TikTok, wherever you need. But peace. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.